to be humble, to be kind. It is the giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. And to be bold and to be brave, it is the thinking that the heart can still be saved, and the darkness can come quick. The dangers in the anger and the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one. Yes, we are. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. Tell me what it is that you see. A world that's full of endless possibilities. And heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. We are love, we are one. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. Sing it again. We are love, we are one. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
Good morning. I'm Jim Knapp. I serve on your board of trustees. I've just got a couple of announcements for us this morning. If you are on social media, please take out your device. Check your device as check in with Unity Minneapolis, and then please silence your device so we all have this sacred hour service. If you don't have a smartphone and you have a dumb phone, then please turn that off as well. So, Reverend Pat is taking a well-deserved Sunday off as he continues to celebrate his birthday. So he is not here today. The Prism Giving Tree is up in the garden court. Your donations allow families to buy or receive Christmas gifts for their children. Please take a list, shop, and return all unwrapped gifts by Sunday, December 9th. So in 2 weeks, Sunday, December 9th. Today's the last day, however, to order a poinsettia. Visit your YOUers in the garden court and order a poinsettia for either yourself or for the church to help beautify the church. Plants may be picked up next Sunday, December 2nd. Have you reserved your photo session yet for the 100th anniversary pictorial directory? I have. I hope you have as well. But if you haven't, we've added some more dates. So please sign up sooner rather than later. They're going fast. You do not have to be a member to be included. And once you do sign up and take your photo, you'll receive an 8x10 photo, and you'll also receive a copy of the directory as well. At no charge. At no charge per Reverend Phil. Thank you. At no charge. Thomas Maiello leads a 4-week Advent transformation process starting this Wednesday evening. Each class will give you an opportunity to focus on a different meaning of Christmas, one that gives insight into what has been working in your life and that which you can finally let go of. Reverend Pat's Ministers Book Group starts this Thursday. Come and join the discussion about what the Gospels teach about the first Christmas. That's this Thursday. Our annual remembrance service is on Monday, December 3rd. That's a week from tomorrow, Monday, December 3rd at 7 p.m. This touching and uplifting ceremony offers us the comfort of holding loved ones close as we light candles, sing songs, and share memories. That's Monday, December 3rd, 7 o'clock. Please be sure to check your bulletins and inserts for more announcements. Complete details and sign-up sheets are in the garden court to receive the electronic newsletter called Peak of the Week on Thursdays. That gives you a lot of information as well. We also have an end-of-year giving table that will be staffed out in the garden court after the service. And, so end of year is rapidly approaching, as we all know. So please consider end-of-year gift to Unity Minneapolis. And now I'd like to invite Ann Salt up to say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I would like to plant a seed in your minds. I will be directing a theatrical performance of a show called Mother Wove the Morning at Unity. This show is about the female image of God and how her loss has affected the world over the years. I need 17 women, ages around 30 to 70, to play a range of parts, and I need technical volunteers of either gender. The show will be performed the Friday and Saturday of Mother's Day weekend, and auditions will take place before Christmas. So please let that seed grow and consider joining us in this exciting opportunity. And for more specifics, I'll be available in the garden court right after the service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Now let's turn to prayer led by Reverend Jeanette.
Good morning. Good morning. We thank you, sweet Spirit, for this day, this wonderful, wonderful day. We are so grateful. We are blessed. We are blessed with and just filled with gratitude. So we say thank you, sweet Spirit. We thank you for the loved ones in our lives, for all the good in our lives. For we know you are present in every single area of our lives. And we take this knowledge with us wherever we go with a grateful heart. So thank you, Spirit. And so it is. So let's just be grateful for this glorious, glorious day. Woo-hoo. Okay, so the core value for the month of November we're focusing on is loving. We define loving as sharing genuine warmth and care and affection in all our actions. We demonstrate loving by actively expressing love through sacred service and honoring and encouraging each person's unique spiritual journey through the loving words and actions. So let us affirm our core values together. We are loving, transforming, welcoming, spirit-filled, prosperous, and joyful. And our vision, centered in spirit, we celebrate a world transformed by love, peace, and compassion. And our mission, we are a vibrant, inclusive, prosperous spiritual community, inspiring and empowering full expression of the divine within through prayer, education, and service. And I invite our on-duty prayer chaplains to please stand. These individuals arrived early today, and they are here to support you in prayer for any joys, concerns, or celebrations you would like to pray about. They will listen with the ears of their heart and hold it in the strictest of confidence. So please, seek one of them out. I assure you it'll be a blessing for you as well as for them. So let's stand for our opening song, All That I Am. one of our core values here at Unity Minneapolis is that of welcoming. Therefore, one of our favorite things to do here is to welcome our new guests. So today, if this is your first, second, or third time here, we ask you to raise your hand like I'm raising mine, and Lori. All right, we got one there. Yay. Cool. So, we wait, oh, the usher will get to you. The usher already did. Oh, wow, man, that's fast. Okay, the usher has brought you a booklet that has a pink card in it, and if you choose to fill out any part of that pink card, you can bring that to our bookstore, and you will have another gift. So, and then also that beautiful red rose, or not so red, it's force of habit, red, is our way of recognizing you to give you that special Unity welcome. So thank you. Okay, and one of our other favorite things to do is just to recognize any and each one of us. So this is your first day, second, or all the time. We are blessed. So if you have, let me see, what do you have? So if you have, let's just get up and say hello. Forget it, just if you have it or not. Okay, great. So if you didn't get to say hi to that special person you wanted to speak to, you can join them in Friendship Hall for fellowship after the service. So let's sit and sing Sanctuary. God bless you.
Lord, prepare me to be your sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, teach the children to stop the fighting, start uniting, live as one. Let's get together, loving forever, a sanctuary for you.
We now move deeper into spirit with the reading of the daily word and the singing of the Lord's Prayer. As Asher brings down the prayer box, you're invited to mentally add your prayers to the written requests in the box. After the service, the prayer box is located in the garden court where you may add your written requests. Your prayers are then prayed with by our prayer ministry for 7 days, and then they are forwarded to Silent Unity, where they are prayed with for an additional 30 days. The word for today is home blessing. We affirm, my home provides an energy of divine love to all who enter. When I consider the seemingly negative energies in the world around me, I may wonder how my positivity makes a difference. The answer can be found within the boundaries of the space that is my home. My love enfolds the physical form that is home for me, ensuring that it is safe and comfortable. With the same spiritual energy, I include all those who live within my home and those who visit. If there is another space that I considered a sacred space, a nature sanctuary, a spiritual center, or more, I include it in my prayer intention. It too radiates the same divine love that fills my heart. I am grateful for the comfort and support it provides me and all who enter there. And Scripture tells us in Isaiah 32, verse 18, my people will abide in a peaceful habitation and in quiet resting places. The word for today is home blessing.
Let us take a moment and relax and do as Paul said in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, and be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We rest in our heart space, knowing the beautiful statements of being Jesus gave us. Simple and practical. Let Jesus' words be your words. I am open and receptive to the inflowing and outflowing of all there is in God. I am grateful for challenges that lead me beyond my extremity to Spirit's opportunity. I see with all my mind and heart, and I shall find. I keep my thoughts centered upon only those things that I want to see manifested in my life. I see the world not as it is, but as I am. And I am in spiritual unity with God. I am a radiating center of peace and love. In my quest for truth, I press on past my humanity to a deepening awareness and an increasing releasement of my potential divinity. Let us rest in the silence for a moment of our truth in gratitude. And so we rest. And now, let us return to this space in time as we take our attitudes of being and live our truth in our releasement of our divinity. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
When I'm worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep, and I fall asleep counting my blessings. When my bankroll is getting small, I think of when I had none at all, and I fall asleep counting my blessings. I think about a nursery, and I picture curly heads, and one by one I count them as they slumber in their beds. So if you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you fall asleep counting your blessings. out a nursery, and I picture curly heads, and one by one I count them as they slumber in their beds. So if you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep counting your blessings, and you'll fall asleep counting your blessings.
Yeah, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Unity Band. That was absolutely fabulous. Good morning. Before I begin my lesson today, I wanted to share with you that if you, by any chance, been looking for a really great movie to go to, Laura and I went to see The Green Book yesterday. Has anybody seen it? It's about a black concert pianist from New York. He's booked a tour into the Deep South in the 1960s, 1962 to be exact, which is not exactly a safe thing to do in 1962. So he's hired a driver/bodyguard, a white guy who's, kind of more of a bouncer than anything else. And it's about the overcoming the differences between the two of them and the friendship that develops. And it is so incredibly uplifting. So just want to let you know that. You're welcome. On a recent Black Friday, a certain older man was out shopping with his daughter and son-in-law and kind of overdid it and ended up collapsing and passing out in a store. When he came to, he found himself in a bed in a Catholic hospital. And sitting beside him was a nun making notes on a form as far as admitting him to the hospital. She said, "Sir, how do you intend to pay for your treatment? Do you have insurance?" "I have no insurance." "Do you have savings that you could tap?" "I have no savings." "How about relatives? Is there some relative you could count on to help you with this?" "The only relative I have," he said, "is a sister. My sister is a spinster and a nun." The nun said, "Sir, nuns are not spinsters. We are married to God." He said, "My sister is married to God? Perfect. Send the bill to my brother-in-law." Well, in this season of what we're calling Thanksgiving, I want to talk today about a certain kind of gratitude. I'm calling my lesson today, Giving Thanks for Big Ideas. And the focus of my lesson this morning is on the book of Jonah, the prophet Jonah. It's actually one of my favorite stories in the whole Bible. And if you haven't read it, you could do so in about 10 minutes, the whole book. And the idea of Jonah comes up again in one of the Gospels. In Matthew, the Pharisees and the Sadducees asked Jesus to show us a sign if you are who you say you are. And Jesus said, "No sign will be given to this generation except the sign of Jonah." They got very upset by this. Why? I'll explain a bit later. But first, I'd like to talk about the story of Jonah. I don't know, if you were like me in Sunday school as a child, and perhaps you heard this story referred to as Jonah and the whale. But there's no whale ever mentioned in the book of Jonah. It's about Jonah and the big fish. First of all, this is not a literal story. Otherwise, Jonah is supposedly in the belly of the big fish for 3 days. How does he know it's 3 days? Does he have a watch with a luminous dial or what? No, not at all. It's a spiritual vision, and it's a teaching story. So today, we're going to look at the metaphysical meaning, the inner meaning of this story. The first part of the story takes place at sea. Metaphysically, the sea represents the mind of God, or in other words, the source of all ideas. Fish in the sea represent ideas in the mind of God. In the story, Jonah got swallowed by a big one. That is, a big idea. In Unity, we have lots of big ideas. One of our big ideas is that our reality is actually shaped by our deepest beliefs. Another of our big ideas is that we are divine beings, always one with all of God's qualities: divine love, divine power of creation, divine wisdom, and divine aliveness. Another of our big ideas is that we can all hear God's guidance every day. So today, maybe you're just now tasting some of Unity's big ideas. Or maybe you've swallowed some of them and you're in the process of digesting them. Or maybe you've actually been swallowed by some of these big ideas. That is, they have not only become a mental part of your life, but they're principles on which you stand, from which you live. If you have ever tasted and swallowed a big idea, or had the guidance to do something big, at least out of your comfort zone, maybe you could relate to the prophet Jonah. Jonah received some guidance. How did he receive his guidance? The same way you and I do. An idea came to him. The idea that came to him was, it's time to go to Nineveh in the country of Assyria and prophesy. It's important to know that the original meaning of the word prophet was not someone who could foretell the future. A prophet was someone who spoke forth the truth of God. And because he did, he would say to kings and leaders, if you continue to go the way you're going, this is the future that you can anticipate. So God said to Jonah, go to Nineveh and tell them, outwardly you are prosperous, but inwardly you're starving. And if you don't start putting God first in your life, things are going to get very unpleasant very fast. This was a constant theme for the Israelites. They had the experience over and over again that if they put God first in their life, if they trusted God instead of trusting foreign alliances, everything worked well. They had prosperity and peace. But if they did not put God first, they experienced wars and droughts and famines. However, the book of Jonah is unique in that, I should say unique in the Jewish Bible, or what we call the Old Testament, because it's not about God loving the Jews. It's about God loving the Assyrians. and by extension, God loving everyone. So the point of the book of Jonah is that God loves everyone on earth equally. This was a huge idea, as you can imagine. And as a matter of fact, as you know, it's still a huge idea. Right? That's why the Pharisees and the Sadducees were upset with Jesus when he told them the only sign you're going to see is the sign of Jonah. Because the sign of Jonah is God loves the Romans and the Samaritans and everyone else as much as you. When Jonah received his guidance, what did he do? Did he respond immediately and take off for Nineveh? No. He went the exact opposite direction. Have you ever done that? Have you ever received guidance and answer to a prayer and then paid no attention whatsoever to your guidance? Or even did the opposite? I know I have. So, what big idea, what guidance have you received? I read a story recently about someone that Mary Morrissey, she who was teaching our prosperity classes, when she still had her ministry in Oregon, she knew this woman who, for her entire adult life, had been a nun. But in her order, there was a mandatory retirement age of 65. So as she approached this retirement age, she had the thought, I don't think God's finished with me serving here on planet Earth. And she remembered that she had always wanted to be a doctor. So here she is, 65 years old, and she's thinking about going to medical school. So part of her mind, the part that she called the rational part of her mind, said, are you crazy? Do you know that when you graduate and get a license as a medical doctor, you're going to be 72 years old? But the other part of her mind, the part which fortunately she listened to, said, yes, but in 7 years, if I don't say yes to what I want to do, I'm still going to be 72 years old and not doing what I want to do. So she said yes. And at the age of 72, started a brand new career. That story reminded me of my wife, Laura, who in her 60s decided to go back to graduate school and got her master's degree in counseling psychology with a specialty in art therapy, because she knew spirit wasn't finished with her yet either. In the Bible story, Jonah boards a ship bound for Tarshish. Tarshish is another word for Spain. The word Tarshish literally means hard, rocky, stony. And metaphysically, it represents hard-headedness, as in saying no to our guidance. And it represents the struggle and the efforting that results from saying no to our guidance. Have you ever been there? Me too. The name Jonah in Hebrew means, on the one hand, dove-like and loving, and on the other hand, violent and destructive. So Jonah represents the two sides of our mind. What I call our ego mind, which is who we believe we are when we feel separate from God, and our real self, or our divine mind. That is, Jonah represents, on the one hand, our willingness to surrender to God, and on the other hand, our resistance to God and our fear of God. What's interesting to me in this story is that Jonah isn't actually afraid that he's going to fail in Nineveh. He's afraid that he's going to succeed. How like us? We think we're afraid that surrendering to God will mean loss. But our real fear, the real fear of our ego mind, is that we'll have success, we'll have ease, we'll have fulfillment, in life. So Jonah gets on the ship. It takes off from the harbor, and as soon as it gets to open water, a huge storm comes up. And Jonah is below deck, asleep. The crew on deck are panic struck. The storm is so violent that they think the ship is going to break apart and they're all going to die. So they start to cast lots and ask, who's responsible for this storm? And the lot falls to Jonah. So some of them go down below. They wake Jonah up. And they say, what did you do to cause this storm? Jonah says, okay, I did it. I said no to God, and this is what happened. And he says, all you have to do is throw me overboard, and everything will be fine. Well, they resist that for a while because, they don't want to be responsible for killing somebody. But Jonah convinces them. So they throw him overboard. And of course, the next thing that happens is this big fish swallows him. And he's there for 3 days. And then gets coughed up onto dry land. The storm represents what life becomes when we say no to God, right? Jonah at first is asleep, which means that he's not awake to the relationship between how tough, difficult life has gotten and what has caused it. So he wakes up and begins to realize, wait a minute, this is my own doing. And he says, throw me into the sea. That represents Jonah surrendering to spirit, surrendering to God. Because once again, remember, the ocean represents God. Surrendering to spirit and spirit's guidance. Then he's swallowed by this big fish. Now he no longer has a big idea. The big idea has him. And he goes to Nineveh, he prophesies, and he is totally successful. That is what he has been afraid of all along. I came across another story this week about someone who had a similar experience. This is a woman named Tama Keeves. And she wrote this article several years ago in Unity magazine. I'd like to read a bit of it to you. She said, I hadn't listened to spirit before. In fact, I'd done everything I could to ignore the beckoning of my real self. As a young woman, when I had told my New York Jewish parents that I dreamed of being a writer someday, they suggested that I should maybe dream of putting a roof over my head instead. So, I attended Harvard Law School and graduated with honors. Then I lunged into a high-status corporate firm where I worked nonstop and let my houseplants die, my humanity die, and my hopes die. My income soared. I could buy almost anything I wanted, except all I wanted was another life. Every day I worked at the law firm, I felt more depressed. Finally, I did not even want to wake up anymore. I just could not go on in the life that, quote, made sense. I was only drawn to a life that did not make sense. I quit my job. Leaping was better than dying. That's when my spiritual life became real and miraculous. I think that when we crave something that we think is impossible, God is handing us a holy invitation. Our desires are our doorways. I left my big law firm life without any real plan or a safety net. I had a yearning to write and listen to the voice of joy within me. I reduced my living expenses, took a job waiting tables, clenched God's hand, and began experimenting with every kind of writing. I was terrified, yet more at peace than I had ever been in my life. God became real to me. I could finally feel the love of the universe because I was doing something that I loved and I felt filled with thanksgiving. Finally, I realized I was meant to write a book. I needed to write it for my own healing, and I believed it would help others to discover and live their calling too. Over the next 12 years, I wrote my first book, This Time I Dance, Creating the Work You Love. And then later on, she says, today I make my living by writing and teaching and offering career coaching. People say I'm lucky or special, but it's not true. It is true that I'm living an extraordinary life, but it's only because I am following an extraordinary guide within. So, what big idea has shown up in your life? Maybe it's time to go past tasting and swallow it. Or maybe it's time to take the plunge and let the idea swallow you. Maybe the big idea is making unity principles a way of life instead of a wonderful mental concept. Or maybe it's saying yes to your guidance, even though your guidance is outside your comfort zone. My experience is that saying yes to God, saying yes to our guidance, always turns out better than I could have imagined, always is a good idea. Spirit speaks to us through ideas that come to us and through desires to be and do all that we came here to be and do. So on this end of Thanksgiving week, end of Thanksgiving month, give thanks for big ideas. But do more than that. Say yes to them. Namaste. Thank you.
Life, so they say, is but a game and they let it slip away. Love, like the autumn sun, should be dying, but it's only just begun. Like the twilight and the road up ahead, they don't see just where they're going. All the secrets in the universe whisper in our ears. All the years will come and go. Cause up, always up. We may never pass this way again. We may never pass this way again. So they say, for the fools, and they let them drift away. Peace, like the silent dove, should be flying, but she's only just begun. Sail our ships out on in the olden days. We must gather all our courage. Sail our ships out on the open sea. Cast away our fears and all the years journey's end. I may never pass this way again. That's why I want it with you. We may never pass this way again. We may never pass this way again. We may never pass this way again.
Yeah, Dee.
Oh, thank you again, our wonderful Unity musicians. Now it's time in our Sunday celebration for sharing of our tithes and love offerings. This is a time when those of us who think of Unity Minneapolis as our spiritual home, practice putting God first in our financial life. We know that as we do that, not only does it prosper Unity, it prospers ourselves as we find the bounty that becomes part of our life as we practice tithing and giving richly. So, if you are here in person, want to welcome you to this tithing experience, and if you are here online streaming, also, this is your time to share and give, and there's a button on the screen which is a secure place to give. So if you would, please join with us in our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is.
What can I give you? Poor as I am. If I were a shepherd, I would give you my lamb. And if I were a wise man, I would do my part. What can I give you? I'll give you my heart.
And as the ushers bring the gift forward, now it's time for us. We've each given individually or as part of an individual family. And now it's as important to receive this gift as it is to give the gift. So even if this is your first day with us, let yourself be Unity Minneapolis and receive this whole gift into your heart. Letting yourself feel grateful to our one source which flows through each one of us and allows us to continue to live and express our mission, transforming lives with the truth that sets us all free. So thank you, God. Amen. Thank you. At Unity Minneapolis, we have a tradition of asking for a year-end gift because we believe that this ministry is one of the most important things that's going on in the Twin Cities and deserves our support. And so today, I would like to invite Sharon Payne, if she would please come forward and share why she makes a year-end gift to Unity. Sharon.
I'm happy to be here with you today to share a bit about my experience, my journey at Unity Minneapolis. I've been coming to Unity Minneapolis regularly since the very first Sunday service I attended about 5.5 years ago. One of the things that struck me most that first Sunday was the music. From the congregational songs, one I remember was "I Believe I Can Fly," to the fantastic musicianship of the guest artist, to the phenomenal piano playing skills of music director Lori Dokken. I was in tears, spiritually and emotionally moved by the music and the message, and I felt uplifted, I felt accepted, I felt worthy and loved, just from one Sunday service. After that very first service, I realized that I had found my spiritual home. And even better yet, I found out there was a choir. As a lifelong musician, I had been aching to be part of a choir again. And so I joined the choir within a few weeks of beginning my attendance here. But I soon realized it was more than just a choir. This was a direct path to meeting kind, loving, like-minded people. It was a fellowship. It was a ministry. It expanded my world. I suddenly had an entire new group of friends who shared the love of music, who supported me in times of trouble and despair, who encouraged me, who celebrated my successes. And because of the amazing leadership of Judy Vinar and Lori Dokken, I also know I've become a better musician over the years. The Unity Minneapolis Choir has been one of the primary ways I've participated and been a part of this community. But there have also been numerous other opportunities, classes and workshops I've taken, the healing ministry I was a part of, being a member of one of the committees for strategic planning. My participation here has completely transformed my life. I can tell you that I'm a happier, more balanced, more peaceful person than I was a few years ago because of these experiences. I can't imagine my life without Unity Minneapolis. It's made that much of a difference to me. At the end of each year, a lot of organizations are asking us to give of our time and our money. I like to take this time to reflect back on the growth that I've experienced over the past 12 months, to realize how I've grown in my music, in my friendships, and my own personal development. And it's really important for me to give back to the place that feeds me, that gives that encouragement, that gives me those opportunities for growth. So that's why I choose every year to make a year-end gift to Unity Minneapolis above and beyond my normal giving. I give so this community can continue on with all it offers. Sunday services, incredible music and concerts, workshops, classes, healings, outreach, so that Unity Minneapolis can continue to help other people transform their lives the way my life has been transformed. And in the long run, so that we can transform the world. So I want to encourage you to reflect back on the last year too. Think about how Unity Minneapolis has positively impacted your life, and encourage you to thoughtfully consider a year-end gift. I guarantee the gift will come back to you multiple times over. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. I have a couple of more announcements that Reverend Pat asked me to share with you. First of all, we hold the family of Cher Joy Trulin in love and light as they process Cher's recent transition. Her service will be at Unity Minneapolis on Thursday, this coming Thursday, November 29th, at 1:30 p.m. with visitation at 12:30. And also, we hold in love and light the family of Peggy, is it Dubby? Doobie, sorry. Peggy Doobie, as they move through her transition. I love this. Peggy had celebrated her 100th birthday and has been a member of Unity since she was 13 years old. A memorial service will be held Not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday, December 5th, visitation at 11 and service at 12. Now, do we have children? Let's bring them in.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light. Sing, you are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Good morning. So one of our strategic planning initiatives was to have easy ways for parents to bring Unity home during the week, and I want to share one with you this morning that we used with our preschoolers today. So we just created these little jars, and you can see there's all sorts of goodies in it and some color. And if you shake it up, it gets pretty busy. And we talked about sometimes, does your head ever feel like that? Does your body feel like that? All sorts of things. But then if we stop and we get still, it calms. And so our meditation in preschool today was we stirred it up and we set it in the middle of our sacred circle, and we all agreed to be quiet and still until the bottle had calmed. They're really good at it, parents. It's really easy to make. And grown-ups, it works for us too. Thanks.
Can we all come to youth and family ministry and learn? Let's appreciate these wonderful adult volunteers. And now let's join in the new version of our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. And all is. I don't remember that last part, and I don't have my program in front of me, so. And I am divine. Let's do our peace song together. Testing. Oh, it's too late. The music is already. That's okay.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo, yeah. Here comes the sun, I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 One more. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say it's alright. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say it's alright. It's alright. There's a lot of counting. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, yep, that's it. All right.